people have premonitions, like it gives them inspiration, maybe from like a dream, or they foresee the future, or they do tarot cards or stuff. Yeah. Mine comes from YouTube's autoplay. It will all of a sudden jump way outside anything I've ever watched before. Like the one time it started giving me Billy the Exterminator. Like, okay, I hate snakes and rats, which are going to show me all these like creepy things in the middle of the night. So I have wonderful dreams about it. All right, YouTube, let's go. And I have to keep the TV on all night because the pups watch TV. We have to have it on when we go to bed. We have about 45 seconds after my butt hits the bed to turn the TV on, or Ziggy starts barking at me. So the other night I woke up at 2 a.m. because of course I did. My body has this weird internal alarm clock for 2 a.m. that I never set and I can't get to turn off. And I look at the TV and there's this most adorable giggle.
Now remember, Lillee and her mom are victims of bullying here. They are no way aggressors. They're peaceful people being targeted.
And this weird show, and so I rewind to the beginning to see what it is, and holy shit show, Batman. If the Laura Owens case was a dumpster fire, this is the most inconceivable case of a helicopter mom, Karen, and I didn't know like Karen was a mom. I thought, you know, she was on her own mission. And she's throwing a tantrum, going on a tirade, yielding a flamethrower, torching everything in her path, and get out of her way.
Well, this is what a degenerate animal from Jersey does!
Well, that was that was something.
From what I've been able to tell, this wannabe influencer slash makeup guru slash not something actress wannabe, I don't even know what she is. This person who posted a lot of things online was called out for buying subscribers and views on Instagram, and I think YouTube and Twitter as well. And there were a lot of YouTube channels that are commentary channels, just like mine, but instead of covering legal issues, they cover gossip, drama, catfights, and all of that happen with other influencers, which is really interesting. I had no idea how many like different genres there are out there. There are commentary channels dedicated to covering just MLM scams, just fake influencers, just mom influencers. It's absolutely nuts and very intriguing. You know, you start to think that the LawTube community is so massive, you know, that's just our world. And you forget we're just like a tiny speck on the map of the massive YouTube universe. So someone noticed something off with this girl when she started posting, and she had 1 million followers, but not very much engagement, and everything, something was just off. So of course, where did someone post? Reddit. It was nothing inflammatory. It was just, hey, I noticed this. What do you think? And it was in a beauty, I think a beauty guru forum actually. So the story started to unfold, and several YouTube channels began to cover it and put out some videos about Lillee Jean, and they called her the fake influencer who bought 1 million followers, and the Instagram model who fabricated her entire life, and the beauty guru buys 1 million followers. It's not like we haven't seen drama unfold before. And every time a bit of gossip hits the news, there's this wave of commentary about it. Everybody talks, then it goes stale, and everybody moves on to the next thing. However, in this case, this influencer has a momager, which is a new term I've never heard. Momager, really cool. She's unlike anything anybody has ever seen before, like real life, online, anything. Wow. She has like completely lost her mind and become obsessed with removing any negative said about her daughter. Let's talk for a minute about doxing. So doxing is when someone takes your personal information and they put it out there on the internet, whether this be your name, if you're someone that's unknown, that goes by a pseudonym.
They're giving me the private information of a lot of YouTubers. They're telling me who owns the Anna Oop channel. They're telling me Sunny V's real name and where he lives. They're telling me Jelly Smack's owner. I don't even know who Jelly Smack is. They're mad at Mark Cuban and Snapchat.
Your address, your phone number, your family's names, your link to your Facebook account.
A 27-year-old man who has profited off my daughter's name and image for the last 4 years. His name is Curtis Price, a United Kingdom resident. And then she goes ahead linking some of my socials. And then you only listed my family for one reason. because you were trying to push your audience onto my family. Innocent people, might I add. So what other reason would you list my family members other than to get them involved as well?
Generally, they do this with malicious intent. Sometimes it's unintentional, but generally they're doing this trying to harm you. And this can be very harmful for people who value their anonymity. This is why many creators were reluctant to counter the copyright strikes, because they would have to provide their personal information and trust the person who put the strike on them to not take that information and publish it. If there was an attorney on the other side, they are bound by ethical obligations and generally wouldn't do that. But when you have just a normal person on the other side, who knows what they would do? Understanding the implications for this made it more important for me to protect my own personal information. I mean, have you ever Google searched your name? Your name, email address, telephone number, boyfriend from high school, it all shows up there. It's easy to find. There's data brokers who actually have that information and they're selling it to companies. And not just companies, scammers, spammers. Anyone else who wants to target you can get it. Your full name, address, health records, all your relatives, all that information is out there and it's just getting spread wider and wider. That's why I've been using Aura, who fortunately is the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me what data brokers have my information and it automatically submits the opt-out request. It cleans up the information for me. It actually has reduced the amount of spam I've been receiving. And it protects me from the hackers, the spammers, everybody else who could get my information and do something nefarious with it. I just got another notice in the mail that my data was part of an information leak. Hey y'all, Editing Meg here. I just went down a little rabbit hole trying to find a screenshot for you. I went looking in my inbox for the notice that I received in the mail just recently, and I haven't cleaned my inbox in a while, and I actually found 4 notices since December. Yeah, I don't clean very often. My data has been leaked 4 times since the end of last year. And real quick, I just wanted to show you. The first one was from December 15th, 2023, and they wrote to inform me that there was a data security incident that involved some of my personal information. Hackers were able to obtain my name, address, phone number, email address, social security number, and date of birth. That's concerning. The second one occurred in February of 2024. It came from Loan Depot. The funny thing is that I've never done anything with Loan Depot. However, I did have my identity stolen last year, and they used my information on Loan Depot. Wow. The third one's from March. And when I read this one, it says a software called Go Anywhere. And I'm like, I don't remember ever using a software called Go Anywhere. What is this? I don't know. And then I looked it up. It's actually a healthcare company that has hospitals across the country. So at some point in time when I went to the hospital, they obtained my information, stored it somewhere off-site, and that off-site facility got hacked. Then finally, and most recently, I received a notice of a security breach at Syncora. They released my first name, last name, address, date of birth, health diagnosis, and/or medications and prescriptions. But don't worry, because they said there is no evidence that any of this information has been or will be publicly disclosed, or that any information was or will be misused for fraudulent purposes as a result of this incident. Because people spend all that time and energy hacking to obtain this information just for funsies. Woohoo! When this happens to somebody, they recommend you use strong passwords, monitor your account activity, freezing your credit, fraud alerts, things like that. And Aura does all of that for me in one single app. The fact that my information's been compromised multiple times makes me really nervous, but having Aura to monitor it for me and give me notifications instantly has made me feel a lot better about what's going on in the world today. I value my privacy, and yours too. So you can go to aura.com/Meg's Crime Watch. Start your 2-week free trial and start protecting yourself today. YouTube has a fairly simple copyright strike system for creators. The purpose is to help creators protect their content. So let me give you an example of why this is important. I had a hobby craft business maybe on Etsy in the past. I designed a product myself out of wood to be cut on my laser. It was really unique and it actually became kind of popular pretty quick. So I sold the physical items and I also sold the digital file for other people to use themselves and make on their own lasers. Before long, my sales decreased and I found out that multiple other shops had bought my file from me for $5 and then turned around and started selling it themselves for less than I was selling it for because they could mass produce it. You can guess where they were coming out of. What country? So it took me months to design that and hundreds of dollars in materials to keep making it until I got it absolutely perfect. I probably could have fought them over that to say, hey, this was my unique design. You stole it. I have proof. But the time, the energy, and stress that would have put on me was absolutely not worth it. So I kind of went on with my way. This is what YouTube wants to avoid. They want creators who have that creative ability to continue to create. They don't want people who don't have that creative ability and don't care about that, who just want to steal other people's work and make a quick buck, not to be able to get away with that. So as a creator, YouTube tries to make it easy for you to see who may be stealing your work and using it as their own. They have a system where they show you right in your YouTube studio what work has been used. For example, you can see in my studio, Law Talk with Mike used one of my videos a year ago. I absolutely gave him permission, and even if I hadn't, I don't care, because I know what Law Talk with Mike is doing is absolutely permissible. He is providing commentary with my video, which makes it fair use. These other people, not so much. However, I don't care. I'm not going to strike anyone because for so many reasons. It's not worth it. And there's no reason to be an ass like that. But YouTube also shows you how much of their content is your video. And it matters how much of their content is your video. Did they take your entire video and just reproduce it as their own, like this person right here did? Or did they take 10% of your video and incorporate it into their video? Additionally, with our content, there's a little bit of a area with the fact that it's public domain related to, court cases and all of that. It's my commentary over it that would be the copyrighted part, and that just gets into a whole other layer of things. So we're not going to talk about that. So put court cases out of your mind. That was probably a bad example. YouTube also shows you how many subs and how many subscribers the other channel has, because is it really worth your time to go through and copy strike a channel that has 2 subs? They're probably not reproducing it for any kind of nefarious reason. But say someone's being swarmy and they steal your entire video and they're reposting it in its entirety for the purpose of making a profit off of it. There's many channels that do this. They scrape the content off of your site, repost it on their site as their own. We've seen this quite a bit with, say, for example, Judge Judy videos. Judge Judy did not give permission for her videos to be shown on random named YouTube channels. Those channels have her videos up, are making a profit off of them. However, Judge Judy did not license that and is not involved in that. What they're doing is recording it from somewhere and they're putting it up. And then other channels are copying their recording and putting it up. So whoever is in charge of that and has the copyright ownership of it has to go through and copyright strike them. So say that happens to you and someone's being swarmy, steals your entire video and posts it on their own channel without providing any commentary. Then what you have to do is you have to go into your YouTube studio and you have to fill out a copyright removal takedown request form. When you start to fill out the form, there's 2 notices at the top of the screen. The first says, enter the details of your copyright removal takedown request. We'll review each request before taking any action. This form is subject to YouTube's copyright removal terms and conditions. Most people don't read terms and conditions, but you're agreeing to that. You're agreeing that, whatever the terms and conditions say, yeah, you're abiding by them. Also, YouTube says, we'll review each request. They don't say whether it's going to be me, like a person in a body with a brain, or JR, the robo intern, Then you go to the video removal request and it says, remember, not all copyrighted content is eligible for removal. Hello, this should be like bold exclamation point, red. Not all copyrighted content is eligible for removal. Do we need to say it again? Not all content. Yeah. There's some people who just don't seem to understand this, no matter how many times people say it. Or maybe they just don't want to listen. I don't know. It says learn more with a link. Look, there's a link. All you have to do is click a button. Then you have to read. I know that's a really hard thing. So everyone should learn more because copyright claims have a huge impact on creators. People don't realize what this does to people. Or maybe they do and they're doing it maliciously. I don't know. This link takes us to some really simplified copyright information page. The important information that everybody should see is over here under this copyright exceptions tab. This is where we find that valuable information that not every thing is subject. The not. Yeah, this tells you what the not is. Before I get into that, let me tell you more about the fake influencer saga, how it fits into all of this. Back in 2019, when someone noticed the 1.5 million followers and the incredibly low engagement rate on this person's Instagram account, they posted it. Everybody started analyzing every aspect of everything to do with this person. They all fell down the rabbit hole. Shit got real. So let them tell you what they found.
No matter what industry an influencer is part of, one of the things they all have in common is that everybody knows them, right? Or at least a lot of the people who follow their type of content do. I mean, that's pretty much the point and definition of being an influencer. If you have 1 million people following you, then yeah, that's 1 million people who all know you, and there's probably another 1 million or so more people out there who at least know of you. However, such was not the case for one alleged beauty influencer, an 18-year-old by the name of Lillee Jean.
Does the name Lillee Jean ring a bell to you on a celebrity degree? No? Well, you should be embarrassed.
Logically, Lillee Jean, with 1 million followers, should be known at least a little bit in the community. But no one knows who she is. Do you know who she is? Have you heard of her? I guarantee not. And that's what started this crazy rabbit hole.
So Lillee Jean, an 18-year-old makeup artist slash Instagram model slash actor slash art person with 1 million followers. In this day and age, she would be classed as somewhat famous, not a class A celebrity though, like myself, but more of what a person with 1 million followers would be classed as. A social media star, an inspiration to those who are currently on their journey to success. However, you might find everything about her is not authentic.
Despite thinking so highly of herself, she's just a big nobody. Like, her YouTube account only has 14,000 subscribers, her Twitter only has 10,000 subscribers, but for some odd reason, her Instagram has 1 million followers.
She started in, I believe, 2016, and though she had almost 1 million followers on Instagram, her skills weren't necessarily that unique or better than a lot of people's. She's also apparently an actor and an artist, but she's also not particularly talented in those areas either.
So one thing that all of these type of beauty guru pages on Instagram, at least the scammier ones, the ones that have this suspicion of a majority of bot followers. One thing you find when you look at their analytical data, which is public to everybody, is that right around September of 2019, a lot of different beauty gurus experienced the same flatlining that Lillee Jean did and other artists. The one thing that's different about Lillee Jean when it comes to this, if you look, she had a lot of gain before this gap in Instagram's data or the change in Instagram's data. Not to say she didn't lose followers, but to say it was much more rare. After the gap, you see that she started to lose followers pretty drastically, but then it will shoot back up and extreme numbers. I mean extreme follows, but then it'll shoot back down. Up and down it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows.
I did actually find out that a lot of people started to unfollow her and mass report her account for spam, which Instagram actually caught onto and removed a lot of the fake followers.
The most shocking thing to me was that her mom was not only going along with the lies, but she was actually participating in it. Her mom also had an account and she would be posting fake photos to feed all of these lies.
On the billboard attached to the CoverGirl store in Times Square, New York.
Not even 8 a.m. in the morning. I woke up bright and early at 7:30 what day is it? This Wednesday morning to see an email on my phone saying, "Copyright takedown notice. A video you have made has been copyright claimed." And bro, it's so early, my throat is still like weird. But lo and behold, Lillee Jean Truman took down my video, and I have a copyright strike on my channel now. I don't even quite know what that means, but I have one, and I have to go to copyright school to even be able to have it disappear in 90 days. Which I think is funny, considering I broke 0 copyright laws, so, you know, the only person breaking laws here is Lillee Jean and her deranged mother, Lord Truman. But hey, what can you do?
YouTube seems to finally be catching on. And the Lorax is losing her mind. And not letting all of these go through. They're still letting way too many go through. But it's something. It's something. I'm gonna suggest again that you have your lawyer educate you on what fair use means. Because fair use applies to you, just like it applies to everybody else. And you might want to stop defaming me and saying that I'm stalking and harassing and cyberbullying you, because I've never done that. Show me one instance. Show me anywhere in one of my videos, anywhere, where I've done anything of the sort. You can't, because it's never happened. Ever. You simply don't want to be called out. You don't want to be criticized. You cannot handle the pressure that comes with being a public figure. So Lore, your little product, it's a fail. Why don't you just call it a day?
Did she really try and copyright strike me just because I used a picture of her in my videos? Yes, she did. Now, and I want to set the record straight. Just because Lillee Jean has 1 million followers on Instagram does not mean she can abuse the copyright system and try to take everyone's videos down, including myself.
And yes, Lillee did strike my video. No, this is not me bashing her or lashing out because of it. I'm making this video because I refuse to be silenced about serious social issues.
May I submit to you forthwith copies of Mr. Rakaita's latest harassment, which is solely unbefitting of a member of the court system that has a fiduciary right to uphold the law in every sense of the word. Huh? These words, I do not think they mean what you think they mean.
Just look up Lillee Jean copyright strike on YouTube. You'll see dozens of creators who have had their videos removed and strikes put on their channel from these false claims. I even had one of my videos removed from a second channel. We were testing recreating my voice in AI and then dubbing it to Spanish.
Pero no importaba si sus talentos eran un poco engañosos.
That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? We're living in the future. And that video was removed within 24 hours by Lillee and her mother. And the crazy part was that the content they claimed I stole was the Project Bullyish trailer. That trailer came out after my video was even made. So there's quite literally no way in the universe that my video had the Project Bullyish trailer in it at all.
We take abuse of our copyright tools seriously, and we're not afraid to punish people who misuse them.
They also said that I used the Project Bullyish trailer throughout my entire video, but taking 2 seconds to look at the video would tell you that that is completely false.
We take abuse of our copyright tools seriously, and we're not afraid to punish people who misuse them.
So they are very clearly abusing the copyright system to get videos removed that they don't want people to see. They are also, inside of these emails, sharing people's private information, which is not only an invasion of privacy, but this has the potential to put creators in danger. I'm sure my name and address is in some creators' inboxes right as we speak.
We take abuse of our copyright tools seriously. We're not afraid to punish people who misuse them.
And on top of all this, they are also using the copyright system to send actual harassment to creators that creators can't block because it's coming from the official YouTube email, and you have to view it because it has the potential not only to delete your video, but also to delete your channel. And personally, I don't think a smaller creator wants or should be forced to read an email where they're being called a child predator through YouTube's official email system.
We take abuse of our copyright tools seriously. We're not afraid to punish people who misuse them.
Is everyone on the same page here?
Yes, we are. That's why we created projectfu.org. Check out our website, where we're compiling all the information from all the illegal activities, all the harassment, the cyberbullying, and everything else that's been done inappropriately towards creators. During all through 2019, 2021, while things were going on YouTube, social media was ablaze with talk of all of this. Two of the main sources of information were websites called LOL Cows. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. LOL Cows. And another called Kiwi Farms. I'm just learning what this is, although I have spent a large amount of time on the website in the past couple days, and there is a wealth of information there. From what I determined, the two websites, Kiwi Farms and the other one, are both centered around what is called... See, the thing is, I wasn't sure if it's LOL cow or LOL cow. So I looked it up, and there's a whole thread on Kiwi Farms about how to pronounce that word. The answers are phenomenal. Here's the IPA phonetic translation I use. It's pronounced LOL cow. lol cow, but bear with me because my New York accents. I usually say LOL cow. So in other words, everybody types it, nobody says it in person. So let's just pretend, I guess. Oh, then someone says you pronounce it the way you pronounce local. Locale. Locale. Locale? I don't think there's supposed to be an L at the end. Oh, locale. Locale. Anyways, and what this term means is the LOL stands for laughs, the cow stands for a cow. And it's something you can milk for laughs. Person whose eccentric or foolish behavior can be exploited to amuse other onlookers. These message boards saw that people were calling out Lillee Jean, and on social media, her momager was going batshit crazy. Don't forget to get your batshit crazy shirt. And attacking anyone who said anything negative against her. She was copyright striking all their videos. She was DMCA takedown requesting any negative post or anything that contained any kind of photograph or anything of her. It was unreal. These two websites started really compiling information about her and became the target of her rage. Kiwi Farms website was created by Joshua Connor Moon, who was known on the website as Null. Lillee Jean's mother, her name is Laura Truman. She likes to go by Lore. I guess the A is, too much for her. She can't handle the A. She's got to drop it off. I don't know. She's incredibly active on social media. I think that's all she does. She owns a antiques business, supposed to be managing her daughter's career, but I don't know how she has time with all of the effort she puts into social media. She initially blamed Moon for all of the negative posts and videos that were going up about Lillee Jean having fake followers, and she lashed out at him, blaming him, Kiwi Farms, Lol Cows, and Reddit, which she seemed to think that Moon owned all of those and was in control of everybody on them, and it was a whole thing. She even went so far as to put in a bar complaint against attorney Nick Rekieta for having Josh Moon on his show. He had no idea who Laura Truman was. He had no idea who Lillee Jean was. He had never had anything to do with them, but because he had Josh Moon on his show and all of that, she put in a bar complaint against him that was unreal. So while this dumpster fire is blazing out of control, a well-known YouTuber named Primink entered the mix, and he made a video about Lillee Jean, which was amazing. He immediately started receiving copyright strikes from Lillee Jean's camp, trying to take his video down off of YouTube. Just like other creators had, and there were multiple creators making videos around the same time, they were all receiving copyright strikes, some of them to the extent it shut down their channel. Now, YouTube takes these copyright violations seriously, as we talked about earlier. If a YouTuber has a decent-sized channel, there's a good chance that they're providing this content full-time, and this is their primary source of income. So shutting down their channel has a major impact on them. Even if it's not their primary source of income, they could be relying on it for other things. This is their business. It's not like you're just taking away their fun card. Like, you're literally shutting down their business. That's like walking up to someone's antique store and hanging a clothes sign on it and saying, sorry, can't work for the next, couple weeks until I get around to looking at this paperwork. People would freak out. That would be in the newspapers. But with copyright strikes, it's all kind of done behind the scenes and nobody really sees it. Which is why it's incredibly important to read that section that I showed you. Exceptions to the copyright rule. You need to be absolutely sure before you issue a copyright strike that what you're doing is legitimate, because you could severely hurt somebody on the other end, and you don't want to do that wrongfully, because that would make you a shitty person, and you don't want to be a shitty person. So what are copyright exceptions? They're laws that let you reuse someone else's copyright protected material without getting their permission, but it's only under very certain circumstances. In the US, the most widely known copyright exception is fair use. I'm sure you've seen disclaimers on nearly all the channels that you watch towards the beginning. This is fair use under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1978, blah, 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 blah. They're doing that to remind anybody who might, watch their video and think, oh, this is copyrighted. No, it's not. It's used with legal permission under this law. Going back to what we looked at earlier, all we had to do was click on a link on the form, and it took us to the copyright information, and right there on the side it says exceptions. So we click on that, and here we are. Here's all the information we need. So let's talk a little bit about what fair use is and why it's so important, and why we wouldn't have YouTube commentary channels without it. Fair use is the legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyrighted protected works in certain circumstances. It provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is fair use and identifies certain types of uses such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship and research. I think scholarship and research, kind of same thing. The ones that are important is the criticism, commentary, news reporting, and even teaching. Those are the reasons that people are reusing somebody else's content. Section 107 calls for the consideration of 4 factors in evaluating whether something is fair use. They look at the purpose and the character of the use. Your intentions in that use is incredibly important. Are you trying to exploit the original content for your own benefit, or are you trying to take that and turn it into something else that is your own? That is where transformative comes in. What you present must be transformative. Transformative uses are something that adds something new with a further purpose or different character, and do not substitute for the original work. So if you take a photograph and you change the background on it, that's probably not sufficient to be a transformative work. If you take a photograph and you turn that into a metal sculpture, that's transformative. You're turning it into something different. It needs to not be a replica of what it originally was. So the second factor is the nature of the copyrighted work. It analyzes the degree to which the work was used as it relates to the copyright's purpose of encouraging creative expression. Thus, using more creative or imaginative work, such as a novel, a movie, or a song, is less likely to support a claim for fair use than using a factual work, such as a technical article or a news item. In addition, the use of an unpublished work is less likely to be considered fair use. Number 3, the amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. Under this factor, the court looks at both the quantity and the quality of the copyrighted material that was used. If the use includes a large portion of the copyrighted work, fair use is less likely to be found. If the use employs only a small amount of the copyrighted work, fair use is more likely. That said, some courts have found use of an entire work to be fair under certain circumstances. In other contexts, using even a small amount of copyrighted work was determined to not be fair because the selection was an important part or the heart of the work. This is where we talked about if you take someone's video, if you take a small snippet of their video and you add it into yours and it's just a piece of the entire context of your entire video, that's fair use. If you take their entire video, make it your entire video, and just add a couple things here or there, that's not fair use. This has been seen with a lot of YouTube channels and has been a big issue. You can't take pieces of videos from a couple other channels that you like, cut them together, and make a new video. If I wanted to give you just clips of everybody else who said so much more than I've even said about the backstory of this case, I could have done that, and that would have made an entire video. I can't do that because that is not transformative. I'm not doing anything or providing anything of my own creativity to that. I'm just cutting it and putting it in there. However, taking those clips and inserting them into my longer video is providing you information for a completely different purpose. I'm telling you about a situation, and I'm using those clips to help demonstrate some of the background of the situation. I am not trying to entertain you the same way those clips are trying to entertain you, and my subject matter is slightly different than those clips' subject matter. It was a different purpose, and that's what makes it different. If that makes sense. I don't know, I'm getting confused in my head. Number 4, the effect of the use of the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. Here, courts review whether and to what extent the unlicensed use harms the existing or future market for the copyright owner's original work. In assessing this factor, the courts consider whether the use is hurting the current market for the original work. For example, by displacing sales of the original work, and or whether the use could cause substantial harm if there were to become widespread. This is like what we talked about with my Etsy issue. Someone using my design can hurt me because they're taking sales away from me. They're selling the exact same thing as me. They are reusing my design. Even if they alter the design to make it their own, they're still selling basically the same thing that serves the same purpose and is doing the same thing as me. And they're becoming my competition in that regard. And they're devaluing my item because they are flooding the market with the same item. Now, the same thing's true with, say, photographs or things like that. Even if you're transforming it slightly, say you're improving on it, you're taking someone else's photograph and you're making it a little bit better, and then you're selling it. If yours is better than theirs, even if it's slightly transformative enough to meet the fair use standards, if you're devaluing theirs, then that could cause an issue. And these are things that the courts weigh when it's not, cut and dry fair use. When it's things like we talked about above, like news reporting, commentary, things like that, it's pretty cut and dry fair use, and it doesn't go to the courts because it's handled usually by people with common sense. On the website, it says, at YouTube, our mission is to give everyone a voice and show them the world. Copyright exceptions play a key role in furthering this mission by supporting the free flow of ideas and creativity. Therefore, we ask rights holders to consider the applicability of copyright exceptions before they submit copyright removal requests. We believe this would strike a balance between respecting the copyright of rights holders and creators' freedom of expression that may be protected by copyright exceptions. That was a lot of words to say. Make sure you know what you're doing and don't abuse the system. The problem with that is that YouTube is trusting people to do the right thing, and that doesn't happen a lot of the time. If there's a system that can be exploited and abused, somebody's going to exploit and abuse it, and that's what's happening here. Because the problem with the system is the first level of the copyright takedowns for YouTube is mostly automated. This means that channel owners that are not like top tier channels with millions of followers are generally going to receive a strike, and that strike is going to instantly restrict their account. Now, this happens when anybody puts a strike on their channel. There is nothing preventing you from filling out a form. You can put anything you want on the form. There's no authentication required to fill out the form. So someone could go around and copyright strike everybody's channel. What they're doing is illegal, but they could technically do that. So one strike restricts their channel during the process. If they receive 3 strikes, their channel is completely terminated. All videos get deleted and are gone forever. That could be catastrophic to creators that rely on YouTube for income, like catastrophic. After the copyright strike is received by the channel has 7 days to respond to the copyright strike. In responding, the creator is required to provide their full name, their address, and their personal information, which is then sent back to the person who filed the complaint to begin with. If you choose to respond to the copyright strike and provide all of your information and follow all of the necessary steps to fight this, then the person who issued the claim has 10 business days to provide proof that a legal action has been initiated. That means you're taking it out of YouTube's hands, you're taking it to the US court system to resolve this claim in a civil court system. 99 times out of 100, someone in those first 2 steps are going to say, this isn't worth it, and walk away. That's what's been happening in this situation, and as a result, a large volume of content that has been created and falls under fair use has been improperly removed from the site being YouTube. Because the creators that were discussing Lillee Jean on YouTube were not reposting her work for profit. They weren't violating any of those aspects of the copyright law. Everything they did was falling under fair use. They were showing media associated with Lillee and discussing the controversy over her purchasing bots or whatever it is to make herself famous or appear famous. And from what I've seen, that is exactly why the fair use provision was created. However, Lar, whatever she wants to be called, doesn't seem to understand what fair use is. She believes that no one should be allowed to use Lillee's image or her name or her own, and she makes outlandish claims in her copyright strikes and her DMCA takedown requests, calling people Nazis because she's Jewish. But then again, before she started all of this, she had posts where she was praying to God and posting photos of Catholic saints, so maybe she's just confused. I don't know. She attacks anyone who says anything negative about her, and she takes down things to an extent I can't even understand. She posts incredibly abusive comments all over social media. She has doxed many creators, and anyone who speaks out about her. She has called people's personal employers and tried to get them fired. These are just people who are providing commentary and posting actual factual things on the internet. This is not anyone that's like coming to her house and talking to her or anything. She's threatened to call the police. She's stated that she has filed claims with the FBI, although I can't find anything, any kind of cases about anything except for her getting evicted like a ton of times in bankruptcies and all that. So I don't know what's true and what's not. What I did find was thousands of DMCA requests where she takes down anything and everything that has to do with Lillee Jean off the internet or herself, anywhere. And when people try and correct misinformation that they're putting out, like on IMDb, when she tries to say that she was involved with certain movies and people who were actually involved with those movies say, no, you weren't, and try and correct that information, she went on a tirade and posted all kinds of things to the point where everyone just walks away because they're scared of the lady with a flamethrower. I have honestly never seen a bigger hypocrite in my life. There are hundreds and hundreds of posts talking about how they have been so harassed and all of these things, when the majority of what I've seen is critiques of their public persona, which they wanted. They wanted to be in the public. They are spamming everything they can with information about themselves. They're paying for news articles to be written, like fake news articles. They're paying for these awards you can get for these hodgepodge movie things. Like you can sign up for these film festivals that are like 5 films and you get this award, but you have to pay this huge entry fee just so you can put on your resume. It's a weird thing. It's amazing. You can buy anything. You can buy anything. And they are doing all these things trying to buy fame instead of putting in the work to get there. I mean, if they would put in half the effort into like making her a likable person as they do attacking anyone who says anything about her, she probably would have been, you know, a decent actress by now. But they also need to get acquainted with, you know, the concept of freedom of speech. People are allowed to say bad things about you, as long as it doesn't cross into defamation. They can't make up things. They can't make outlandish claims like randomly calling people neo-Nazis and falsely claiming people are harassing you. What you do when this happens is you ignore it and move on with your life. But instead, she's attacking back, and she's actually the one breaking the law because the people making the claims in the beginning have some factual basis to back it up, and what they're saying they believe to be true. Look, this person did this. And then they're attacked back and called names, and they have their livelihoods actually hurt. They are harassed in person and things like that. So there is a lot of law breaking going on the other side of all of this craziness. So as a part of all of this, in addition to the YouTube copyright strikes, Lillee and Lore have been issuing DMCA takedown requests. And what that is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which was passed in 1998. When the internet came to be, they had to address copyright as it relates to the internet. In 1990, Section 212 of the Copyright Act was enacted, and it allows copyright owners to have their work taken down without having to go through costly litigation. The problem we're seeing is the Trumans are abusing the system, like everything else. They're submitting thousands, I mean thousands of requests. And almost all of them, at least all of them that I looked at, and I looked at hundreds, none of them were violating any copyright rights at all. They all fall under fair use. They are going to the extent of going on other people's Discord servers and copyright striking Discord posts. Who does that? They're going on Twitter and copyright striking people's posts that may show a picture or anything like that. Anything. They went so far as to get into a battle with another individual and issued a copyright strike for a photo of the individual's cat. It wasn't I have no words. I have no words. There's obviously a flaw in the system. This should not be allowed. But the problem is that the volume of requests that are received at that level is such that it has to be on an automated system. No organization has the amount of manpower it would take to go through each of those claims individually. So when that happens, it's up to the creator who receives the strike to fight it. This is true on any platform, whether it's a post on Discord or it's your video on YouTube or something published in the New York Post. It's always on the person who receives the strike to fight it. In order to fight this, you have to provide your legal name, address, and all of this to the person who issued the strike, which is Laura Truman and Lillee Jean Truman. This means that they have the ability to rain hellfire down on you, which they have done, and they have anyone who has crossed their path scared of them and not wanting to deal with their bullshit. So they have essentially shut down all of these creators from talking about them by abusing the system, by filing false claims, by lying and perjuring themselves thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times, by harassing, by cyberbullying, by doxing over and over and over again. At this point, it has gotten out of hand and it has to be stopped. It hasn't been stopped to this point because each individual occurrence happens as a single instance. There's no accumulation that happens. There's no database that says, hey, look at all of these that have this in common. Everything's individual. So what we need to do is we all need to band together and bring all that information together so that it can be presented to the proper authorities and this can be shut down, because this is a blatant abuse of our legal system. You can't be this big of a bully just because you're a shitty person and you don't want people to know. What should happen is the Truman should stand up and say, yeah, we screwed up. We tried to buy our fame and we're going to step back and we're going to start again from scratch and do things the right way. And there's a decent chance that Lillee Jean might be successful. But the way that it's happening now, that's never going to happen because you're trying to cheat your way to the top. And you can't cheat your way to the top. Not in this day and age. People are going to catch you and they're going to call you out. And as the lol cows say, they're going to laugh and milk it for all it's worth. And then somebody else is going to come in and shut that shit down. If you want to know more, we're creating a website to compile all the information, everything that's been deleted, everything that's been taken down, all of the creators who have experienced the harassment. ProjectFU.org. FU, fair use. There is so much more to this that I will try and cover the best I can. In the meantime, check out the videos in the description. All the other creators that still have their videos up, they were copyright struck, but actually won their appeals, which is amazing. And they are still experiencing harassment, so go support them, give them a couple likes, share this, help spread the word. Check them out on social media, do all that good stuff, and I will see you soon. Bye.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the fucking hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and fuck all the doubters, they're just fucking downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. Yo, I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all